Greetings, Keishlings, Keishan Prime here with another My Hero Academia power-up video. It's been getting cold around here lately, and the heater's on, so I thought, why not do Shoto Todoroki today, you know? Some of my other openings might have been some like it hot, some like it cold. Shoto doesn't have to choose because he's buff. Something like that, I don't know. But anyway, while I had most of this video already planned out, but I was reminded of something that I hadn't thought about in a good while. You would think it would be something that's more common in anime and manga, but I don't know that many examples of it. But this basically is the same exact example. There's too many coincidences in this one. Okay, anybody that has ever watched, there was a short-lived anime in the early 90s, but the manga started in, 89. It is called Dragon Quest, Dai's Great Adventure or something. And there is a villain in there. His name is Flamezar. He is a fire and ice demon. He was created by, forbidden magic by one of the other villains. I think his name was Mistvern. And, he, combined fire and ice magic in this forbidden way. And then I was like, this is almost like Todoroki's origins. I'm thinking, well, given that, Horikoshi was born in 86, and this anime would have been airing in the early 90s and probably reruns around his childhood and everything. Could he have been inspired? Because I'll post a picture of what Flazar looks like. He's split right down the middle, just like Todoroki is. And I think he even matches up with the fire and ice sides, so it's just a little creepy. And then the whole forbidden origins with the quirk marriages for Endeavor, and then the forbidden magics. So, But anyway, you came for a power-up video. That was just my weird ramblings. I should have left that for the end, but whatever. Anyway, we'll start off with equipment. And there's only one piece of equipment for him. It is a glider. Yes, probably the most common piece of equipment I have given all of the characters, or at least a good few of them. Anyway, this one's either going to be maybe a single-handed glider for short distances, or a wingsuit possibly. This will be paired up with a super move from his fire side, and it'll provide him pseudo flight. Anyway, a little bit more on that later. Starting with the super moves, we're going with ice, cold as ice. Given how his ice is his primary go-to, at least in the beginning of the series, we'll see how that goes now that he uses his fire side. I could definitely see him always having a better grasp, and he'll refine his ice powers way more than the fire. And then over time they'll get to the point where he can control the size and shape a lot more effectively, to the point where he crafts, more defined shapes. I want to make an ice cube, or, a block ice cube. Not just a couple ice cubes in my drink, which could, still works. But anyway, the first super move will be Frost Fist style. This is going to be he creates fire, not fire. Well, he could do that, but that's not this one. Ice gauntlets, elbow pads, shoulder pads, knee pads, any kind of thing, brass knuckles maybe, ice knuckles, but to improve his hand-to-hand combat performance, because really he never uses it, but especially with more recent chapters, this I did this like weeks ago, but when he fought Tetsu in the most recent chapters, when Tetsu got in close, Todoroki couldn't do anything, and it really hindered him. So he needs some kind of close range utility, and this could work. Also, this concept can be expanded to make like other tools, like little ice picks and weapons for himself or allies. So he can, gear them up, so to speak. Though they probably would freeze, so short-term usage for them. Next we have Chill Glide. This is basically inspired by Iceman's from the X-Men. His famous form of travel where he makes like an ice slide essentially, and he's like creating it as he's sliding on it. Using just his ice side, like, he's got his foot there creating the bridge, or I say bridge, and then just keep creating it, or he can do just the foot and then have his hand free to use different attacks and whatnot to defend himself. And then it gives him a cool form of transport, maybe he not flying conditions, so the glider isn't useful, and then this is, and things like that. Next is Ice Rink. Basically just making a flat, icy surface. It's to trip up villains and to further go into it, like with the Frost Fist style. He makes like little ice skates made out of actual ice, and then he can just traverse the area that he's frozen over, attacking enemies by like freezing them to the ground or burning them or doing whatever, maybe apprehending them with like handcuffs possibly, or something else, who knows. But yeah. Next is Illusionary Ice, which is basically like, have you ever been in a fun house and you have all those, like the mirror room, and like you don't quite know exactly which direction to go because like all of it looks the same? Well, you could kind of do this with like thin ice mirrors. Like he does like a wall of mirrors, think Haku from Naruto in a way, and it's like you see him reflecting in them, and if you do like prisms, it could make this even more effective. But when you like see him through it, you like on the other side, the villains be like, which one is it? And then, so it kind of tricks and could act as a slight defense, but mostly for distractions and that kind of thing, to buy maybe a little more time and to set up other things with other heroes, or just for himself. Starting with the fire side now, we have Burning Chop. Essentially it's another close combat technique. It's a karate chop, but on fire. Yeah. Enthusiastic. Like I said with Frost Fist, he needs more close range combat techniques, and this would be perfect. He'd be like a heat knife, except with his hand. Or Escanor's from Seven Deadly Sins, his divine sword Escanor. But maybe not that overpowered. Excuse me. Next is a fire jump. This is the one that coordinates with the glider. Basically, he releases a mighty fire burst from his left foot, allowing for super jumps, and also a way to like lessen his or soften his landings. Like a smaller burst to kind of slow his descent. And this could be used to save people. Like someone fell from a building and he jumps to grab them and then lessens the fall. And, like, this is basically like the Hulk when he super jumps and all that kind of stuff, except you're using fire. How I wanted to use this with the glider is that, like, he, like, twists his feet around each other, letting the left one being, like, sticking out more so that it's more in the middle, so that it has a bit more controlled flight pattern. Otherwise it'd be lopsided. But if it's a wingsuit, the hang glider wouldn't work as well that way, but could still function to some extent. But next is Blaze Pistol. It's inspired by Ace's fire gun. I always loved that technique. It was probably my favorite because it was such a simple little move. Be it that this would only be like at half the typical power because he can't do double guns, but it would still be a good technique. Give him a little range. It's not super showy, but he could always charge it up, because, like, I'm sure as he gets older he's going to get stronger, especially if Endeavor has anything to do with it. It's like, Shoto, you're going to learn my full firepower. And then it's like, maybe he'll be stronger than Ace in that regard. But yeah, I thought that would be a simple little move that he could do. Next you have, this is the one that I kind of like the most of the fireside techniques, is Molten Road. It's an alternative technique to freezing his opponents to the ground, because I could definitely see, especially in the future, with the wide variety of abilities and quirks that characters have, that you're going to run into some villains that are resistant or completely immune to ice. So, like, they're not going to get cold, or they're going to be so strong that they'll be able to break its bonds. So, by using his fireside, he melts asphalt, causing the surface to gain, like, a liquid consistency. This will either slick, or, like, it'll either be like an oil slick, quite literally, because there is oil in asphalt, and then they'll make them, like, slide around and fall over, and then because it's more liquid-like, they'll sink into it. And so, like, if they fall backwards and then he puts a little cold onto it, the road will start to harden back up, and now they're stuck in asphalt. This is actually inspired by something I found on Google, because I was like, does asphalt melt under hot, like under hot enough circumstances? And apparently it does. Especially like in India, because, like, they have not the same standard of road maintenance and production as we do here in the States. So, like, there's, like, really thin layers to thicker layers, and it's just kind of random a bit. So, like a few years ago, a really hot summer caused some parts of the road to just completely melt. And I'll post pictures of that. It was kind of freaky. And obviously, once the temperatures cooled down, they went back solid again. But that would be scary. And I thought this would be perfect, because stronger opponents, you're now stuck in asphalt. It's going to have quite a bit more hold and a stronger trap. But now we go into the combo moves. We're going to combine fire and ice this time, folks. The first one is Steam Burst. Basically a self-fist bump, if you will. This, inspired kind of by the Colossal Titan from Attack on Titan. Probably my favorite Titan, why it was on my mind. With his two powers, they react and cause basically a giant bellow of steam, a powerful enough eruption that it would either burn or at least ward away people, so he could use this to gain some ground. And, because that's kind of what the Colossal Titan does. Like, he releases steam, so then it's like, ha ha ha, you can't attack me, because you'll burn if you get too close. This could be effectually the same way. So yeah. Next is Steam Veil. It's basically a weaker version of Steam Burst, and it's more to the purpose of having like a territory cover, so that it conceals his motion or his movements and location along with those of allies, so that they can maybe circumnavigate an opponent that they can't fight. It gives for tactical retreat, allows to possibly save hostages, and with certain coordination, Todoroki provides the cover and the others go save hostages and the like. So it's not a fighting move. And then finally we have Shard Flare. This is a move that essentially has like two stages. The first one, he fires off some ice shards. And then second, he shoots them with a fireball. So kind of like, he does like a little ice move and then does a blaze pistol. And then it essentially just shatters the ice. And with the light from the from the flames and stuff, it would maybe cause like a reflecting light sensation. And it's like it could be blinding somewhat to a foe, or it can be used as a signal flare. So like he shoots ice up into the air and then just starts firing it off, and people are going to know it's him because it's like, oh, that's very unique to him. So there you go, another utility move. But yeah, that's about all I really have. Good lord, this video lasted longer than I thought. But yeah, Todoroki, he's like an overpowered character, and I was kind of, well, relatively to some of the other characters in his class, in Class B that we are aware of. So I was like, how can I improve and actually do something for this character? And I kind of surprised myself. But yeah, let me know what you thought. Let me know your ideas of how Todoroki can become even more overpowered. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Keishan Prime. Follow me also on my Discord. I recently created one. All those descriptions will be down below. So join if you wish. And thank you. And I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.